Hey friends, welcome back. Behind the Scenes episode 6 starts right now. I sound like a news reporter. Alright, let's try it. Let's try a close-up angle. Hey friends, welcome back. Behind the Scenes episode 6 starts right now. Let's just, you know what, forget it. Just start it. It doesn't matter. Play the intro. What's up friends? So glad you made it back to my YouTube channel. It's been a very busy last month and a half for me. At the end of July I was in Nicaragua, and then I had family coming to town. I was in Canada. I went to Denver. I had a birthday. Gosh, I did a lot of stuff, which explains why I haven't posted anything on YouTube. I just honestly haven't had the time. But I do have a pretty exciting photo idea that I think is going to make for a great behind the scenes episode. So thanks for your guys' patience through all this. I'm really excited to be back. Okay, so here's my photo idea. I bought this plastic mesh. It's about 15 feet long. I'm gonna actually just head straight over to my master bedroom, and I'm gonna nail the mesh on one end of the wall and then create a canopy over our bed, probably about 5 or 6 feet up. And then I'm gonna take all these string lights that I have, which I have a lot of them, and I'm gonna actually weave them through the mesh, so there's a few different rows of string lights that are hanging down above the bed. Allie will obviously be the focal point. I might have her writing in this book. I'll probably have her do a few different things. Hi, that's Penny. She just lets herself in. Anyways. I think it's gonna create this really dramatic scene with her there, and then this big canopy of lights. I'm hoping it'll kind of look like stars. I'm really not gonna use a whole lot of outside light coming in through any windows or anything. I'm pretty much gonna depend on the light from the string lights. I also have these secondary lights that are just a nice, look at that. Oh, that's bright. Oh, God. They're adjustable lights that I can prop up if I need to. So at this point, I'm gonna go get it set up. I think this idea will make a little bit more sense once I get in there and you see everything set up and all that. Hi, Penny. Hi, hey. What you got? What you got? What you got? We are about halfway, probably more than halfway done setting this up. I have the mesh area here. I went ahead and nailed it up to the wall right there on that side. And then on this side, it's literally just hanging on this ladder like this. But you can see it creates this canopy here to where I'm just gonna go in and put string lights through all the way back. And I'm really going to just be taking photos of from here down. So, you know, you're not going to be able to see the canopy or anything like that. You're just going to be able to see cool lights. So at this point, we just have to get the string lights in the mesh and then start shooting. We just got done getting all this set up. Look at all these lights. Just gonna mess around, take a ton of different photos. I even have Allie holding this book here. Look at all that light right there. Well, it's actually not a book, sorry, it's a notepad. Allie's holding the notepad here. I'm trying to make sure I get some kind of exposure, some kind of light on Allie's face, while all the other hanging lights are there as well. That was kind of a lot of work, babe, huh?
Sure was.
Yeah, but my dogs are freaking out over here. Hey, hey, hey. But anyways, hey, hey, hey! We are gonna go eat some pizza, but you guys get to watch the cinematic cut, so enjoy it. Hey friends, just really quickly, I was gonna crash out and just go to sleep, but I decided to spend a little bit of time editing the photos. And I actually like to do this with any new photos that I'm editing is I'll maybe spend 30 minutes or an hour editing like at night, and then I'll step away from it, just go to sleep, and then wake up the next morning and come back to it and see if I like the edit. I found that stepping away from what you're working on for even if it's just 10 minutes or it's like a full night's sleep, when you come back to it, you have like a fresh mind and a fresh set of eyes to look at what you've been working on and almost understand immediately, okay, this is exactly what this photo needs, or I don't really like what I was doing here. And here's the biggest reason why I'll do this is because a lot of times when you're editing a photo, it can be very easy to like tunnel vision on maybe a set of colors that you're working with or the type of edit, and so you kind of lose perspective. A lot of times like I'll find myself missing like better choices or better options on how I could have edited the photo. So I would really recommend that. Spend 30 minutes or an hour, edit photos, and then step away from it. Go for a run or like eat a candy bar or something, it doesn't matter. Do something else other than editing those photos, and then you'll find when you come back to that photo set that you were working on, maybe it was just completely horrible altogether, or it just needed a few tweaks and it was good. What's up friends, it's a brand new day. The time lapse you just saw was the 30 minutes or so of photo editing that I did last night. What I'm gonna do now is get back into Lightroom, take a look at what I've done, see if I really like it, and finish up the edit in Lightroom. Then I'm gonna take the photo into Photoshop and clean up the image as I normally do. A big part of my workflow is gonna be really getting the colors in the main edit down in Lightroom, and then getting it over to Photoshop, and if there's anything I want to remove from the image or change, like using a clone stamp, adding new layers, if I want to add stars, all that I do in Photoshop. So let's get right back into Lightroom and see if I like my edit. That was pretty quick. I was pretty happy with the edit from last night. I made a few tweaks with orangish yellow colors on the wall behind Allie. As you can see, that whole area, like the top half of the image is nice and warm, and then the bottom half where Allie's on the bed is like a nice cooler bluish tone. I like the way those colors contrast. So I'm really happy with how this photo came out. Let's get over to Photoshop. I'm gonna clean it up a little bit, and then I'm gonna go back and explain to you guys a few key things I did in Lightroom to get the edit that I got. Are in Lightroom. Last night I actually created a quick collection in Lightroom, BTS 6 favorites, and I went from, if you go to my previous import here, I actually took 139 photos last night, and I weaned it down to 6 that I was most happy with. So you can take a look here, just a few different poses. Allie with the notebook there, holding the lights. So I was most happy with these 6, but this one was definitely my favorite. I just really liked the way the light here under this pillow was illuminating like the front of this notebook and her hands, as well as illuminating her face. This was really important to me. There was a lot of takes where the light wasn't quite illuminating her face the way I wanted it to be, so it just looked, I don't know, it just didn't look as good because you couldn't see her face. So I really got down to these 6 by basically starting with an edit and then throwing it in on a few, going back and forth, putting some into the quick collection, which you can see here. I put about 15 in the quick collection, and then from the 15 again got it down to the 6. So with this edit though, pretty much always I will start with a visco. The one I used, I want to say was in this 400, I don't remember exactly. And so from there it was a pretty good starting point. I made the white balance a little bit cooler here, working with the tone curve. If you really want that matte look, you can bump these 2 up just a little bit. So this whole entire tone curve, if you're looking at it red, green, and blue all combined, it's basically every color spectrum that is mapped out on this image. And if you select different areas of this tone curve, like let's say I selected this area here, I'm going to adjust a very specific part of the image. Another helpful part of that is if you click right here, an adjustment point, you can virtually go to any part of this image and you'll see where, basically if you look over here on the graph as you're hovering over your image, you can see exactly what part of that image is on the tone curve. So let's say you're like, I really want to bring out this part of the image. If I click there, it's going to add a point, and then I can make specific adjustments to just that part of the image. The biggest thing that I did to really make this top area more warm in this blue, first of all, the lights here in the pillow were more of a blue hue to begin with. These lights up here, all these string lights hanging down, were more of a warmer hue. If you look at the before, you can clearly see that, but I do not like the way this looks almost like a greenish yellow. That's pretty gross to me. And then the blues are actually pretty good. I just made them probably a little bit more aqua because that's usually what I do. This is where we get to these hue sliders. I've talked about this before, but you can see I've taken my yellows and pushed them all the way over, much closer to the orange side of things, and then even my oranges, I pushed them a little bit more towards the red side of things. I didn't want it to look too red back here. I wanted just a nice warmth, but nothing too like over the top. What also helped is adding a little bit more warmth in the highlights with split toning, and in all these shadow areas I added a little bit more blue. Also, I took a gradient mask. It's this guy right here, and these are really helpful because I was able to mask all the way just to where this bed stops, or actually I guess all the way to where this bed starts, and you can see how much more warmth I added with that mask. I did the same thing on the bottom half. I added a little bit more blue here, but then I also used it to bump up the shadows, bring down the highlights. As well, I did put a brush mask, which is similar to the gradient. So you're selecting an area of the image, and then you can make specific adjustments to just that area. With her face, I bumped these highlights down because I wanted to make sure her face would stay exposed, all the while keeping these highlights almost a little bit blown out because to me it creates more of a little bit more magic there. So that's pretty much it. A lot of editing for me here is really messing with a lot of these different sliders, knowing what I'm going for, kind of envisioning what the final image is going to look like from it being raw, and then just kind of messing with stuff until you get something you're happy with. I have sharpened the image a little bit. I didn't add a whole lot of grain because my ISO was already at 800, so you get a little bit of grain in there as it is. I'm really happy with this. I just cleaned it up in Photoshop a little bit, took out some of these awkward looking string lights here. I think, I added another row, or column rather, I guess, of lights right in here. I've cleaned it up a little bit and it's done. So that wraps up behind the scenes episode 6. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I definitely had a lot of fun creating it. I'm very happy with how the photo came out. Really quickly, here's the before photo and here is the after. Like I said, I'm really happy with that photo. One thing I forgot to mention, the camera I used was the Canon 5D Mark IV, and the lens I've been using for pretty much everything lately is the Canon 35 f1.4. I think the biggest learning point for me is, and this is something I'm always going to be learning, is having an idea in your head and then make it something that's reality and making it an actual photo out of it. A lot of times what I found is that when I have the idea or the perceived image that I want it to be, a lot of times when you actually get there and you're making it, it ends up being slightly different than what you envisioned. And so the big learning point is getting better about what you visually see, more accurately creating that as the end result. Also, I do want to say that the last episode I announced that I would be releasing music, which is still the plan, but I want to clarify. So my wife and I are actually going to be collaborating on this music project. It's called Pretend Friends. I'm going to link our Instagram down below if you don't know about it, and we will be releasing our first single. So I think the last episode I had 3 songs. I don't think I'm going to release all 3 of those songs just yet. I do have at least one song that we're going to be putting out, and a lot in the works there, possibly even a music video that we're going to make with it. Maybe even a behind the scenes episode based on the making of that music video. We have a lot of fun stuff in store for that. So at this point, you can be on the lookout for a single, one song that's going to be releasing hopefully within the next few weeks. I don't know the exact date yet. If you like this video, make sure to hit that like button. Feel free to leave questions in the comments below on any part of this video. Maybe you didn't quite understand. I'd be more than happy to answer those for you. And if you haven't subscribed already, definitely do that. I'm going to be putting out a lot more videos as it relates to photography and my creative efforts towards photo ideas. And I think it's probably, I feel like the best way for you guys to learn and grow yourselves is to see how I creatively think and what I do to make one photo or one photo idea. I appreciate you guys. You're all amazing. Come say hi to me on Instagram, and until next time, see you guys later.